Today, I'd like to talk about someone who has had a profound effect on the way I think. And this person's name is Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl, the person in this picture here, is a psychiatrist and psychotherapist from Austria. He was caught during the World War and sent to the concentration camp together with his entire family. His mother and father both died in the concentration camp, and so did his wife. Both his brothers and his sister were executed. So it was just him in this concentration camp. Now, while he was there, he was degraded, humiliated, beaten, and tortured in so many different ways. But he decided right at that point of time that he is going to make a decision to find what's the true meaning of all this and how can he make some kind of logical way to overcome all this. So when Viktor Frankl was finally released from prison, he decides to go and write a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And this book became an international bestseller because it recounts how he suffered during that time, but he wanted to find what is the true meaning. What can you do right there? And Viktor really wrote a lot about all the sufferings he's had during that time where all the people were starving and all of them were poor, almost to the point of really not knowing who they are. He recounts that they were all taken away from their names and they just had numbers. So they were treated a lot like animals. And one of the most profound things that I learned from Viktor and from his book was that in any situation, there will always be suffering. It doesn't matter what kind of suffering that you're going through, but you do have a choice. And the choice is to choose the kind of attitude you're going to have towards that suffering. You see, the attitude that you have will determine whether you will suffer along with that incident or not, or you will rise above it. So he made that decision early on. He can be tortured, his freedom can be taken, but there is one freedom that the torturers can never get from him, which is his choice of how he thinks. So from that, we can really get a great lesson for ourselves because we all face some form of suffering or another. Now, it may be an economic suffering, our business, our career, or our relationships, but what matters most is the choice of how we face it depends on us. It is up to us to make the choice of whether we want to let that incident bring us down or we are going to overcome it. And once we make that choice in our head, we will find solutions and we will find some ways. And that is a great lesson from this historian. I implore you, I want you to, if you have the opportunity, to go read this book. But otherwise, just know that the choice of our thinking always remains with us.